them a teeth. And them a say love the beach. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy Kenyan, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch out line and I resort to crime. You can't for me again. Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promise it none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and it's down in the river. Them a pull money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them spell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell go mash up people start and people them spell. Deep on me. What they treat the market man. Deep on me. What them a treat the cat man. Deep on me. What they treat the peanut man. Deep on me. What them a treat the dirt man. Deep on me. What them a treat the sun man. Deep on me. What them a treat policeman. Deep on me. How them a treat soldier man.
Stibidim day, stibidim day. We in Global TV says certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on a cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
This is Global TV election campaign coverage. This is Global TV election campaign coverage. This is Global TV election campaign coverage.
If the Labour Party cannot check their violent mobs, then the electorate should check them at the polls. Good evening and welcome to another evening this evening. I feel a bit disappointed somewhat because tonight's show is dedicated to my family. Tonight's show is dedicated to my community. This tonight on Jamaica this side, I'm engaging my family. But the sad scenario is, as it is for many of our community across Jamaica, light and power gone. So the whole community in a dark, and them can't get to listen to me because a lot of them were upon them Wi-Fi or them battery low or whatever. So them can't get to listen to me tonight. So I'm rather disappointed by that. But nevertheless, I am going to still press on because my community has the link. They will see it when Floyd Green and Derek Sangston, the others. I wonder if I jugs vote them alone, because them normally knock off the electricity in our community when they're loading jugs vote. But good evening to you all and welcome to Global Television. Thank you all for joining us. We're not on TikTok this evening. I will be back there tomorrow. Good evening to those on the X, to those on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. Good evening and welcome. Welcome to Global Television. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Before I get into my program, I will do my usual. I didn't plan out a program. I have a few people to talk to and ask a few questions. But I will do my usual by saying hello to all of you on the live and in the chat. Good evening to Patricia Matthews. Good evening, Lorna. Good evening, Natalia. Good evening, Arlene. Good evening, Debbie Jervis. Good evening, good evening, good evening to Jamaican Politics Uncovered. Good evening, how are you? Good evening, Sunshine, good evening, good evening. I see Simi is back, How are you? Welcome. Michelle Willis, Wilson God's Gift, good evening and welcome. Good evening, Beat and Teach, how you do? Good evening and welcome. Good evening to everyone. Good evening and welcome to those who are on the live, those in the chat, Paula Shelley. Good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining. JamaicanTV.com, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining. Brenda, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining. Monica Willis, good evening and welcome. D-I Easy Jerk World, good evening. Manners and Respect, good evening and welcome. Angela 48349, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Beulah, good evening and welcome. Who else is here? Good evening. Nicola Pitts, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Good evening. Good evening to everyone on the live. Jamaican Foodie, good evening and welcome. Stacy, good evening and welcome. Cousin Jamie, I haven't seen you yet, but good evening and welcome. Full Swing, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Born Jamaican, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Veteran, big up, wig up, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us this evening on Global Television in this one for another program of our series. This is Jamaica Decide. I am going to talk to my community this evening, but I will walk through on a few people I need to talk to. Winston Darkin, good evening and welcome. If Dr. Dawes is not here yet, can somebody call Dr. Dawes for us? Because one have a few questions to ask Dr. Dawes. But over the weekend, I had the time to watch Shelley interview with Dr. Little Bit of Blood. And while you're here, Jamaican politics, assist me here. Carla Williams, good evening and welcome. The page that was giving all those information when Dr. Little Bit of Blood put out the statement from CTOC, that statement from the lawyer, then the thingy from CTOC, was she not saying that that page that was putting out that information was cloned? Help me here, Jamaican politics. Was she not arguing when she put out the letter? And oops, official, good evening and welcome. When she put out that letter and the thingy from CTOC, was she not arguing that her page, they cloned her page? But Miss Flippity Gibbet, when you're telling your story, because the story you were telling to Shelley Coran was your story, always observing, good evening and welcome. Yes, she did. Born Jamaican is saying, yes, she did. Her page was hacked. Your story. It was your story, not mine, not anybody else. Not mine, not anybody else. It was your story. The truth is, though, you didn't sound convinced telling it. And I couldn't follow the thread of it. I couldn't follow the thread of it. My problem is, why are you, Jason Kane, good evening and welcome. Why are you so gracious to the police all of a sudden? What is it? What sort of rapport with you and CTOX and MID and Fitz Bailey that all of a sudden you think you are free now? Because what I'm confused about, a lot of the things that you were speaking about in Shelley's interview, those are the things that was on the page. These people really think we are fools. These people really think we're fooled. Those are the things that were on the hack page, but she was speaking about all of those things. The timing she was given as well slightly match up to the timing that was of the conversation that was on that page. So when you go there and make it look like people draw you here and draw you there and draw you into all sorts of things, it's not true. It's your wording that drew attention to you. My problem is with Fitzbailey and his investigating team and Stony Hill Police Station is why they have not scoured through all of you who was on the scene of the murder. And this is why I want to speak to Dr. Alfred Dawes, because she placed Dr. Dawes on the scene. She placed Dr. Dawes on the scene. Now, to Dr. Alfred Dawes, congratulations, you have been shortlisted, doctor. You have been shortlisted of one of those who are applying to our corporation, the Corporation of Jamaica, for a job. So while you're shortlisted, Dr. Dawes, we are allowed to ask you questions. This is a part of your interview process, Dr. Dawes. This is a part of Dr. Alfred Dawes' interview process. So we can start ask you things, Dr. Dawes. You've put yourself in a way where you are saying, I'm putting myself to all of you. She said, no, did she not say Dr. Dawes was there? That's what I heard in the interview. Drayton wasn't there, but Dawes was. Watch it again, beat and teach, unless I'm a fool. But she said Alfred Dawes was there. Beat and teach. Watch the interview with Shelley. I'm sure she said Dawes was there. That's what she said in the interview with Shelley. Check it again, beat and teach. Trust me. Dawes was there. She said it. Agency Drive 5, good evening and welcome. She said Dr. Dawes was there. And while Dr. Dawes is shortlisted as an applicant to our corporation for a job, any one of us at the moment is entitled to ask Dr. Dawes questions. While she placed you on the scene, Dr. Dawes, my question is to you, in what capacity was Dr. Dawes there? But before I ask you in what capacity you were there, Dr. Dawes, who contacted you? And have the police spoken to you yet? In what capacity was Alfred Dawes at the Silvera's residence? Was Alfred Dawes there as a mourner, a friend, a political friend, a comrade, or a medical doctor? It is important for us to know. It is important for us to know for what reason was Alfred Dawes there. Was Alfred Dawes there as a comrade, as a mourner, a medical doctor? We need to know. We also need to know who contacted Dawes. Yes, Dawes was. Yeah, Dawes was there. She said it. Unless she's lying, then if she's lying, Dawes need to actually take to the public forum and speak the truth to that. But while Dawes hasn't come out and said anything, then as much as Dr. Little Bit of Blood is a flip it to gibbet, and now we can say she's a liar because she's backtracking on a lot of the things. Agnostic, good evening and welcome. A very good question as well. Was Dawes Melissa's doctor? And another question, Dr. Dawes. Did you enter the room that Melissa's body was in? Did you see Melissa's body? It is important. It is important that we ask Dr. Dawes these questions. Because let me tell you something, Alfred. Let me say this tonight. On the 27th of February, if you get elected, Alfred Dawes, you're no longer Alfred Dawes, the practitioner. Good evening, Michael Jones. Good evening and welcome. You're no longer Alfred Dawes, the practitioner. You are Alfred Dawes, the politician, our servant, our administrator. So we are entitled to ask you questions, and we are entitled to know the things that you get up to. So please go in public, Alfred Dawes, because you know me now going to stop. Look at me. I'm not going to stop. You need to go in public and explain, yes or no, I was or I wasn't there. I was there, one, as a mourner, or as a doctor, or as a friend, as a comrade. We need to know in what capacity Dr. Dawes was there, and who called Dr. Dawes, and if Dr. Dawes went into the room, and if Dr. Dawes saw Melissa's body, and was Dr. Dawes acting in his medical capacity when he visited the Silvera residence. The issue is, though, our investigators, we don't know what they're doing because they're not informing us. They're not keeping us informed. They're not telling us anything. Hence, we cannot believe Little Bit of Blood, Fitz Bailey, or none of them, that there isn't a cover-up. Sharon Powell, good evening and welcome. Little Bit of Blood, you're another woman. You claim Melissa was your friend. But what I find hard, just like how you are finding it hard, to believe or come to terms that Julian Silvera murdered his wife in cold blood, I am finding it hard to believe, while you are finding it so hard. I am finding it hard to believe why you are finding it so hard to believe that Julian Silvera murdered his wife in cold blood. Because if you listen to all of you, you would have believed that the CIA, good evening, Lilith Foster, good evening and welcome. You would have believed that the CIA committed this murder and is stitching up Julian Silvera in order to throw the People's National Party into a bad light and throw off Mark Golden for the general election. It doesn't wash. It doesn't wash. Why is Julian Silvera going on with it? Why Julian Silvera keep changing his story? But Peter Champagne said Julian Silvera is eager to have his day in court to clear his name. Nothing is making sense. Good night, Joan Brown. Good night. Good night and welcome. Fitz Bailey, though. Good evening, Roger. Roger Forbes is my brother. I am Roger is my brother. Good evening and welcome. Fitz Bailey have a duty to keep us informed. Tell us if there's an investigation, if there's a cover-up investigation into the death of Melissa. And if there is, who is being investigated. Of course, there are certain details that he cannot say to us. But if there is such an investigation, we need to know. And if there isn't such an investigation, Fitz Bailey, why isn't there? Because under the circumstances, Ubuntu, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Under the circumstances, with all of what happened, Elena Reed, good evening and welcome. All of what happened wouldn't be possible without a massive cover-up involved. It wouldn't be possible that it wasn't until the pathology report that everybody knew Melissa was murdered. So therefore, there was a cover-up, a huge cover-up. And we're not going to be convinced, Pamela McNeil, good evening. We're not going to be convinced that this was done, this huge cover-up, Elaine Turner. Good evening and welcome. This huge cover-up was done by Julian Silvera only. It's not possible. The wealth of work that was done to deceive the police and to deceive the public couldn't have been done by Julian Silvera. Prayer Marie Ale, good evening and welcome. The wealth of cover-up that was done in the Melissa Silvera murder couldn't have been done by Julian Silvera only. So Fitzbailey is under a duty to explain to us or not if there is a cover-up investigation into Melissa's death. It cannot be that there isn't such an investigation. It is because of Fitzbailey's narrative that broadens a lot of the speculation in public. If we're not being given enough or correct information, of course we're going to speculate. In a circle, good evening and welcome. Of course we are going to speculate. What is the JCF hiding? What deal has the JCF cut with Camilla Forbes? Sorry. What deal have they cut with Camilla Forbes as to why she claimed to have run to lawyer, then run to CTAC, and then all of a sudden she's all over the place, sitting down with interview. This woman, this traitor, this flippity gibbet, that page was all over the social media for weeks, and she had no problem. Colin Humphreys, good evening and welcome. All over social media for weeks, and she came out with no explanation. The moment Julian Silvera was arrested, little bit of blood come out, page hack. She report hack page to CTAC and all sort of something. But then you jump on Shelley interview and you are speaking to all the things that were on the hack page. Make it make sense. You're speaking to all the information that was on the so-called hacked page. But if CTAC was doing them job, I wonder where you swap out to CTAC, because if CTAC was doing their job, they would have known that was one of your second page. But because you think you can fool us, because you think everybody are dunce like you, 1 minute it was hacked, then now you jump on interview and people are splice. People are splice. Fitzbailey and the Jamaica Constabulary Force is a major problem in this investigation into the death of Melissa Silvera. Because Fitzbailey cannot convince me that by not following protocol, the sergeant from Stony Hill that visited the resident on his own isn't involved here in corruption, because he's violated protocol. And him say something when him go there because him take the bloodstain picture. But just because the whole lot of things say we are fool, then you can go round and round in a public, ignore we, talk around we, talk down to it and make it look like, say, all our way are dunce like Uno. The behavior of the Jamaica Labour Party around the country, it's more like a dunce campaign. But me know most of you would have seen. This should be a wake-up call for all of you. Now, a politician who have served tantamount of terms in Parliament is telling his people that he has served, and he must still promise them things that he should have done when he was serving. He's now going, but he's promising them that it's been worked on. Unless we are not fool.
Now we're not get water. Too much of fuck with. We got constant control water. It's about. And the minister, who is the same minister and the prime minister. We've been here. He can only come through me and Macho Samuda. And we are working on that ship right now. So make some asshole tell you nonsense. Too much of fuck.
Before I play the other two clips, don't focus on Mama Lashy. The whole of we know say Mama Lashy is national dunce. But focus on the community dunce. The bag of dunce around Mama Lashy. Applauding him on. Applauding on the dunce politician. And I'm going to play you the counselor. The counselor for this dunce politician when I'm done.
Next man that talk about mangy water, man go piss na like you. That's the only way that damn fool can get water. Who's not control water? You don't want to piss na your line. You want to piss na hose and give you. Don't concern about your water. It's bigger than us. And we are working on it, my brothers and sisters. And it will be done.
It will be
But
done.
I think I should say, because a lot of you have mentioned to be water.
Labour supporters seem to have no ambition. Labour supporters seem to don't want anything. You can't just throw them about and roll over them and tell them anything. You might go turn around and call one of the same Labour supporter dog, chink, fly and flee.
Some not left no legacy. We control big fun. Okay? If you ask them to spell legacy, don't think they can spell it out. You can't talk about legacy from one. Okay? I'm elected to serve. And I serve. And I can guarantee you that the water supply situation will be resolved. It will take time. But we have laid out the roadmap to make sure. Russell Graham.
Hold on the peeps.
Ramon Fisher.
Now, this is the counselor. This is one of Mama Lashy's counselor. One who will be canvassing for the vote, for Old Harbour people's vote. So we dunce. Are we going to continue in this plethora of dunceness? Or are we going to wake up and say, let's increase our knowledge? Let's become more aware and understand what's going on around us. Take part in what's going on around us. Become leaders and not followers. Put down the Guguzela for God's sake and listen.
Ramon Fisher, who is unavailable, absent, I appeal for this opportunity to greet you today at the 2023 graduation at this School of Excellence. Graduation is a milestone of all levels. For the reason, I feel truly honored to be here at all wonderful occasion, annual graduation ceremony at the Old Harbour Primary School Institute of Excellence. It is great joy I am here today to assure you all graduates that I know you face a rough task throughout your preparation, your primary school year, especially during the pandemic, and with all the preparation for PEP. But I have no doubt the series of scare events you encounter endure during the period has only made you stronger and more resilient for the
Councillor Relicent. The people of Old Harbour, a lot of the people of Old Harbour you see standing around Everett Warmington will be voting for Councillor Relicent. A lot of people are going to vote for a policymaker. I want to see that statement you were reading from, because either the writer has left out a lot of things or you, the reader councillor, has left out a lot. But I want to see what you were reading from. These are the people you've elected to deal with your administrative affair, policy making. Hey, some people has arrived. Oliver Rodney, good evening and welcome. Angela Costley, good evening and welcome. Good evening, thank you for joining us. Anne M. Wills, good evening and welcome. Jeanette Bailey, good evening and welcome. Prof. Gorgeous Lady, good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. These are the politicians you choose. And I have no doubt, Overcomer, good evening. No doubt you will be choosing them again on the 26th. A lot of them you will be choosing again. But the Labour Party seem to have turned the violence up since this election campaign has started. I'm going to play you something from Darrell Vaz, and then I'm going to show you some graphics from Portland. Gonna look good, and I made that me old master picnic at Darrell Vaz. Look good. See? That's Darrell Vaz, not me. That's Darrell Vaz. What I want to find out from the Andrew Holness government, because we see Dean Jones, when Dean Jones go figure buy, they vote them were there. When Dean Jones go buy, they vote them were there. We see Dean Jones was willing to pull gun to protect him vote buying. Is the Labour Party turning up the violence for this election? Because Darren Vaz is making sign. Oh, out of buff base, I'm going to cut people throat. Whose throat are you going to cut, Darrell Vaz? Darrell Vaz and Ann Vaz. Sasha Lewis, good evening and welcome. Darrell Vaz and Anne-Marie Vaz will have them bad man and them gunman. Them badman and them gunman all over Portland. Our on a plan to use violence to control Portland people. On a plan to use violence to steal the election. Is it that's why Andrew removed the office of the public ombudsman? Because you all plan to use violence and all sort of other means. Darrell Vaz, Andrew Holness, Dean Jones, and the gunman, James Roberts, who not plan to use violence to take over the election. This is coming from your politicians. Your politicians are making public threats. But you don't, holy condorant, sorry. But you don't see your paper them. Your Glean and your Star and your Observer, which the only thing these people can publish these days is people wedding picture. When you're not tired to publish wedding picture. The Glean, Star and Observer has turned into Vanity Fair because they only mind people business rather than dealing what they should be actually dealing with is those in the political and ruling class. Not only that, Anne-Marie Vaz took it a bit further. Uno don't understand we are going in a Portland. Anne-Marie Vaz took it further. Anne-Marie never just go a gallery, go play and sing and cry to water. Anne-Marie Vaz is a violent piece of girl.
Where are you, Anne-Marie?
I am by the Sea of Galilee, the sea that Jesus performed the miracle by walking on it. I can't believe.
Whether them baptized like Trenton or them playing at the water where Jesus walked on, it don't make a blind difference. A pig is a pig is a pig is a pig. Even if the pig have wings, Anne-Marie Vaz. A pig is a pig is a pig. Now, this poster you see on the ground here was for one of the People's National Party candidates. You will see the lamp post that it was on shortly. But this poster was taken down by Anne Vaz Badman them. Burn up, turn up. And then Anne-Marie Vaz went and placed fear bangarang on it. Is the Jamaica Labour Party turning up the violence to control the people of St. Thomas and Portland to win the election? Is the Vazes hell-bent and holding on to Portland through violence? And is it by which James Roberts is planning to hold St. Thomas in his reigns as well by buying, whether you are buy vote or you intimidate people to control them? If the Jamaica Labour Party cannot check them violent self, a violent organization created by the CIA, a violent organization created by the CIA to overthrow social democracy in Jamaica. This is all they know. Violence and dunceness. Listen to Andrew Holness when he speaks. Listen to Nestor Morgan when he speaks. Listen to Floyd Green, who Colin Bell said shit in him out him head because of all the advice Floyd Green could have taken. Of all the agricultural advice, all Floyd Green knows to go and buy foreign goat. You go buy foreign grass to feed them to. The issue though, we are not waking up fast enough. We still fall as fast asleep while the thief them a dig and a full them bag. The whole away still fast asleep. Who else may run out pan tonight? Which one of them else? Oh, Holy Father. Holy Father, good evening, Father Ken. The Archbishop of Jamaica, the thief, the land grabber, the criminal. I just want to tell you, Father Ken, I'll get some more information on you, but I'm not ready for you yet. May I season you? Father Ken. Miranda Rado, good evening and welcome. Jamaican Vlog 876, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Good evening and welcome. Holy Father, Archbishop of Jamaica, guardian of the Vatican's power in Jamaica. The thief, the crook, broke shop, Father Ken, lift shut, Father Ken, drop the people them wallet, grave digger, grave robber. Why did you go and study theology and not archaeology, because you're a grave robber, Father Ken. A whole heap of dead people. A whole heap of dead people you rob, Father Ken. Marcella Maitland, good evening and welcome. Thiefing, Father Ken. I want you to go and sue me. I am so waiting for the. If a two people me want to go sue me, it's Father Ken and Harris Strong. I dare you. Two people I want to go and sue me. It's Father Ken, the crook. Father Ken will walk and sell off dead people land. When the people them dead in a Father Ken church, and a relative, Father Ken take them land and sell. Amadi, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. James Scott, good evening and welcome. Good evening, Overcomer. How are you? No, we're not safe. This Holy Father, Orville, good evening and welcome. This Holy Father here is a thief, is a crook, is a scammer. Father, can I go and blow you up? Me go make Jamaica know say I'm a bad man alone, a criminal in a Jamaica, Father Ken. Father Ken, I go make them know say I'm a politician alone, a thief in a Jamaica, Father Ken. Why didn't you go and study archaeology? Because you've been robbing dead people, Ken. And that's the sign. That's the science of archaeology. To go and rob graves. Grave robber, Father Ken. The people them land. The people them dead left land, Father Ken. Father Albert riches, Father Ken. Father Albert assets. What have you done with it? You thief. You criminal. You crook, Father Ken. But I'm not done with you yet. I am not done with you, Father Ken. Hold on, I'll go get exposed, boy. No, this man is a crook. I'm not asking him, I'm telling him. Millicent Jones, good evening and welcome. This man is a crook. When Father Richard was running, when Father Albert was running his organization across Western Kingston, Father Albert was helping a lot of inner city people. How much of Father Albert projects, Old People's Home, Father Ken, Thiefing Ken, is still operational? What have you done with Father Albert money? What have you done with Father Albert assets? Thiefing Ken. But I am here tonight to speak to the people of my community, and I must always also remember that Thiefing Kim will thief the money from CMU. Thiefing Kim will have the nerve to tell us that we are tired to see our face because we not charge her and we not convict her, but we money still can't find. Thiefing Kim. So we must always remember the criminals and the thieves, the murderers, the scammers, the ones are gun pound. We must always remember them. But I want to speak to three snakes tonight. Good evening to the snakes. Who on the attack? Good evening to the three snakes on the screen. Who on the attack? I want you all to listen to these snakes carefully. Very, very carefully tonight. Listen to these snakes and ask them who them did attack.
I truly believe our political system needs some fixing. Too much you hear about corrupt politicians and nothing happen. Too much you hear about politicians who take away poor people money and none of them reach in jail. And to the young people at home or wherever you are, and to all Jamaicans, I have one question for you. Take a look at your communities. Take a look at the sliding dollar. Take a look at the failing healthcare and ask yourselves, where is the progress? Where is the progress that this arrogant and disrespectful government keeps talking about? With this existing callous government, matters have gone from bad to worse.
I'm going to play it for you again, but I'm going to ask you, who were those snakes talking about? Who were those snakes talking about? These three snakes, who were they referring to? Listen good again.
I truly believe our political system needs some fixing. Too much you hear about corrupt politicians and nothing happen. Too much you hear about politicians who take away poor people money and none of them reach in jail. And to the young people at home or wherever you are, and to all Jamaicans, I have one question for you. Take a look at your communities. Take a look at the sliding dollar. Take a look at the failing healthcare and ask yourselves, where is the progress? Where is the progress that this arrogant and disrespectful government keeps talking about? With this existing callous government, matters have gone from bad to worse.
Right. For those of you who don't know, this was a 2016, I think, video. They were referring to Mama P. They were talking about Portia Simpson Miller's government. I see somebody I want to say hello to. Miranda Rudder, good evening. Who else have I seen? I think I saw somebody who missed my eye. Ronald B. Ronald B., good evening and welcome. They were talking about the Portia Simpson Miller's administration, but how handy this has become for this campaign. How handy has this become for this campaign so we can use Floyd Green, the goat buyer. We can use Alando Terry Lang, who was in Patrick Bailey's house when Patrick Bailey stabbed him 22 times, then shot him and still have him out. Matthew Samuda, which is one of the hereditary master picking of politics. Who were they talking to? Can they not suggest it to Andrew Holness now? They were talking about Mama P administration. But it has become so handy now to point out to Andrew Holness that even those around you, Andrew Holness, even those around you is saying Andrew Holness can't cross it. Enough of the rant. I'm going to go now to talk about my dedication to tonight's show. I know my family is not here because the wicked Floyd Green and the wicked Derek Sangster turn off the light in our community, usually because we live on a coastline area of St. Elizabeth. When them load them jugs boat, everyone away in the community know this, and on a secret, but me not afraid to talk it. When them load jugs boat, power go off in the entire southwest St. Elizabeth, and then load them jugs boat in a dark, and then them put on back light later tonight or tomorrow morning. I saw them hang with for years now. But I want to speak to my family tonight about community politics and family politics. Because this is where politics really starts. It starts in the home, in the family, in the community, before it hits the national level. Because if it's not working in the home and if it's not working in the community, then the politics cannot work at the national level. Sasha Lewis, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Ryan, good evening and welcome. or Nandi Ryan. Good evening and welcome. So, on my right, you have Derek Sangster, who is a dinosauric politician, an extinct one at that. Derek Sangster been in politician forever. I was born in 1974. I remember the 1980 election, and Derek Sangster was duly elected to the Southwest St. Elizabeth constituency. But prior to Derek Sangster, there's a generation of Sangsters in the Southwest St. Elizabeth constituency. Donald Sangster, the Prime Minister, the once Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, was a candidate, was a representative for the Southwest St. Elizabeth constituency. The older generation would also remember C. Sangster. And now we're dealing with Derek Sangster. Now, Derek Sangster went to central government in 1980. He served 2 terms. He served his elected term, the uncontested term in 1983, when Mandley refused to contest with the corrupt JLP, and they claimed to have taken the country by landslide illegitimately. He was returned to central government. Delroy Henry, good evening and welcome. Derek Sangster was defeated by Donald Buchanan in 1989. He was all about St. Elizabeth, Southwest St. Elizabeth constituency politics, and then he entered local government in 2007. James Scott, good evening and welcome. He entered local government in 2007. He is the current, before nomination, he was the current mayor, now a candidate. Again, Mario Williams, good evening and welcome. For the Southwest St. Elizabeth, for the Mountainside division within the Southwest St. Elizabeth constituency. Derek Sangster is about 79, 80 years old. The young man going up against Derek Sangster is a very close family member of mine on my maternal side of my family. Very close family member. I'm openly campaigning tonight against Derek Sangster. And I want to ask the people of my community, PAROTTEE district, the entire community. Now, the voting bloc within our community consists of quite a few different villages. The overarching community is called PAROTTEE. But within PAROTTEE, you have down a Seaside, you have up a Springfield, round a Spice Grove, you have up a Crossroad, you have down a Gravesend, and you have down a Liquor Bridge. We have a huge voting power within our division. As every community and every family split into both sides, you will find that across most families. Our family is like that as well, where some of us are JLP, some of us are People's National Party. I myself, look in my face, was a supporter, not a member, because I've never registered with any political party. I myself was a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party. When did I jump ship? The green bond. Remember when Andrew used with money, print green bond, I walk and buy vote? That's when I jump off the Labour ship. And I decide to stay off because I have assessed myself and I realized that I could not work with those lot anymore. I am not a People's National Party supporter. I'm a Jamaica supporter. Hence is what I do. I don't support one political party. I will support whatever will do good for the country. I will highlight whichever do good. I will batter whoever do bad. But for somebody who has been in politics for the better part of 50 years, Clinton Acton, good evening and welcome. But for somebody who's been in politics for the better part of 50 years, what I'm going to ask my community tonight is to ask yourself when you go to the poll, Hugh Robotham, good evening and welcome. When you go to the poll on the 26th of February, I am asking you, my community of Parottee, the entire community, and my family, I am asking you, if you cannot vote to my family, I am asking you, if you cannot vote for another family member because of political allegiance, then don't vote against him. If you cannot vote for him because the politics start within our family. Andrew Holness' father is a member and supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party, but when his son auditioned for the Jamaica Labour Party, he went over to support his son. So let's play the family politics, because if you don't play the family politics or the community politics, you're not going to get it right at the national level. You're not going to get it right at the national level. So know that in our family, we have somebody that is going to government, central or local. All of us should feel proud and give our support. Because if Derek Sangster, who has been there for 50 years, has not developed our community in any way, shape, or form, why shouldn't there be a fresh mind? And I'm saying to the wider Mountainside division and the voting block of Parottee, Donovan Helen, good evening and welcome. Give a fresh mind a chance. Lorna Davis, good evening and welcome. Give a fresh mind a chance. Because Derek Sangster has been there for 50 years. And I'm going to point out a lot of failures. But if you cannot support your family over somebody who you have been interacting with for almost 50 years that has not made changes in your community, why can you not try your family? And to the wider community of Parottee, at least when we want something done in our community or for our community, we know where to go and find him. Floyd Green is busy moving across our constituency and our community now. When last, before this year, have you seen Floyd Green in your community? When was the last time Derek Sangster came into your community? If you cannot vote for your family, do not vote against them. That's where politics starts. And the Holness father didn't vote against him. He voted for him. Because business, economic, and politics starts with the family. If you can't support your family, and if you can't support your community, them other jingbang fan wo yonder, because this is why the white descendants, the Sangster them, no do nothing to for however long. Because they've been put there because of their color. They've been just holding that Southwest St. Elizabeth seat and the Mountainside division because of their color. Let's talk to St. Elizabeth people. Okay, Parottee people, let's talk. Look on we road them. They draw Mala Sancho community. Look at our roads. What has Derek Sangster done since he's been at local government in 2007? How much street lights are in our communities? You have to walk probably every 3 miles. Probably every 2-3 miles before you walk up on one street light. We had a river called Cassie River with a spring called pump head. But the slave master them left irrigation and pump give, which was pumping water throughout the whole community. All of we were grow up, born and grow up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. We enjoy water pushing through the community unless we pump break down. When thieving fraudster Christopher Tufton came to the Southwest St. Elizabeth seat, Christopher Tufton removed our pump. And from that, the district is under devastation of lacking of water. It has never become any better since Chris Tufton came and take out our pump. We have a water crisis in our community, and we have a river. We not talk about Black River. In a few community, we have a river. When we didn't have a pump, we flood the whole community with water. Chris Tufton take it out. So tell me, how come you're going to put back an 80-year-old man that has been there since 1978 and has not done anything? Your road is still the same. Tell me the last time the roads in our community of PAROTTEE were debushed. Dust and sand are killing when them draw sand through the community. They have no vested interest, even if them tow like a mall and pit panny with liquor tar. By rainfall and them company with the chuck them. We gone back in at the craters and war zone road them again. The mud trap. Is this what you're going to vote for again? He's been there for 50 years. Tell me what new idea, people of PAROTTEE, people of the Mountainside division, tell me what new ideas could Derek Sangster, what new ideas could Derek Sangster come up with that he has not in 50 years? When last time I see Derek Sangster to a community? Does Derek Sangster care about our community? Let me tell you what Derek Sangster has done to our community. Uno phone come from what area and I go understand it, but I'm going to try my best. A part of what area what we call Seaside, remember the broad area named PAROTTEE, but we have an area we call Seaside, where it's a death trap zone. They see the one side here, so, and there's a big lake on the other side, what we call Salpan. So you just imagine the danger. We are in the middle of two pools of water. The sea to your right and the pond to your left. But we have one place what we call Donga Salpan. When we have drought and the water recedes, because over the lake is a very salty lake. When the water recedes and we have drought, you see all of the dry, thick lump of salt there. So we call them this Donga Salpan. There's a culvert down there which divert the water from the mangrove to the sea when we have heavy rainfall. This man, that was on Parish Council's land. Sheila, good evening and welcome. Where the culvert is, or we call it culvert, it's Parish Council land. This man have sold that property to his friends and let them block up the culvert so water can't drain to the sea anymore. Hence, over the lake, before the blockage, say for instance, we have heavy rainfall now and it's full of water would come over into the road or over into some people's yard. that would take about a month or 2 month max for the water recede so we have a big lawn on the savannah to play. That's where we used to play cricket, football, all our playing used to go on there, so because the water used to recede on the far out of Wowo yonder. So we have a big patch to walk and play upon and them something there. Since this man sold that piece of land and then block up the culvert, the water cannot move. The water continue to rise and the risk to the community get greater and greater. My family knows me call and me quarrel every day. Mr. Uno should go and open that thing by force. You see that tidal wave. You see them high wind, Marjorie Lewis. Good evening and welcome. That affected the coastal line of Jamaica the other day, especially north and western coastal line. A freak devastation like that is risky and devastating and threatening for my community. Devon Elliott, good evening and welcome. Because the access for the water, Coral, good evening. The access to drain the water has been blocked up by this man who gave away our parish council land and has put a whole community at risk. We live in the middle of two water. The sea is to our right and the savannah is to our left. And the water and the savannah continue increasing because this man have sold parish council land and allowed developers to block. I ask my family all the while, I don't know how on God earth they stayed in the community, the entire community stayed there and allowed this death trap, this murder, this impending disaster to be placed on my community and my family. So on that, I'm campaigning hard to get rid of Derek Sampson. Because I have told Kevar, if you win that seat, you are going to get straight to work and lift that death trap from over the community. If you get elected, Kevar, and I told you this in private, and I'm telling you public, this is a mandate I'm giving to you. This must be solved because all of my family is at risk. My community, Kevar, is at risk. And this is why I'm campaigning to send you to local government, because I want the disaster that Derek Sampson under the Jamaica Labour Party placed in my community, placed on my community to be moved. So I am giving Kevar a mandate. If he wins this seat, this needs to be removed from our community. If them not allow us to open the land, then whoever buy it needs to move. Local government need to buy it back from them. But the death trap over my community must be lifted. The death trap that this man, head teacher K, wagwan, you're late but welcome, wagwan. The death trap that this man placed over my community must be lifted. And I'm really shocked and horrified by my community who doesn't want to get rid of this man to save people's life, to save their own life. But though anybody here know the community of PAROTTEE, we live in a danger zone. The sea is on one side and the lake is on the other side. It's just the road we separate and the little piece of land, strip of land where we live and separate them. When heavy rain fall, at some point the two of them meet. We have a devastation in our community already in 1986. Those are you party people when you must remember 1986 June flood. When you must remember 1986 June flood. And them time, the culvert did open for receive water. What if June flood happened this time when the culvert was to drain the water to the sea, Derek Sangster block it and have the water continue to rise in on the savannah when we never have that unless we have heavy rain. After a month of the heavy rain, the water recede and we have a big lawn, a big everlasting lawn for kick football pan, play cricket pan, go pan, go fight if we want and them something there. When I went to Jamaica in 2018, the last time I went there, I was shocked, horror. And I've been asked my family member, I've been raising this concern since 2007, since 2018. So I'm saying to my community tonight, if you can't vote for your community, man, don't vote against him. And I'm saying to my family tonight, mama grand picnic them, mama great grand picnic them, mama great grand picnic them. Don't vote against one of mama descendant. If you can't vote for mama picnic, don't vote against him. It's as simple as that. Politics is about family and community. Get it right in your family and in your community, you'll certainly get it right at the national level. So I am playing to my family tonight. I am playing to my community tonight. Politics is a game. Let's play it. We have been playing the wrong side of it. Let's play the right side of it. You cannot have a politician for the better part of 50 years who has not brought any development to your community. Derek Sangster is the mayor for Black River. Look at the shoddy state of Black River. It has been in the same state where the slave master them left it. The two only sort of new building in a Black River since the slave master them is Turn Plaza, John Palmer Plaza, and what else? Nothing else. That's all. And over Ronald George Levine and Quest them Plaza there. Other than that, it just left same like how the slave master them left it. Here so them take out all of the bank them close, all of the bank them in a Black River, the capital for St. Elizabeth, and them turn white people area junction in the capital now because I did them move everything go. Me here say the only thing them left removed from Black River Carolina junction is the hospital. What has Derek Sangster done for your local clinics as the mayor? I don't think our people want any good for them. And for those of you who don't want to vote for Kevar, for those of you who don't want to vote for Kevar because of family politics, of course, in a family, all of we live bad and all of we have we bad living. But the truth is, none of we and Kevar don't have anything. Anyone aware Kevar mother or whatever may have issues, none of we and Kevar don't have anything. Everyone of our family member know that. So if when him mother now get on, none of we not use him mother fat fry him. Him stand alone upon him merit. Party people, you know him. You know his struggle. You know the struggle where him mother have to go through to send him into education. And not have him mother have it, make him reach where him reach. It's because of determination and ambition. Just at the start of university, him lose him father. It never stop him. His mother sell fish night and day to make sure she send him to university. He has never allowed struggle to stop him. He has always been determined. It always press on. And at 30 years, I can tell you he has done more than Derek Sangster. Because Derek Sangster hasn't had a business that we can show off. And this 30-year-old young man has done so much. We can go research him on Facebook. He led Jamaica and stand up for Jamaica in a lot of youth programs. A professional pharmacology with his own pharmacy. Derek Sangster hasn't done that in 15 years for himself. Derek Sangster wouldn't know the route to use to do all of that for Uno, because Derek Sangster has never gone through what we have gone through as Mama descendants. Derek Sangster, everything was handed down to a white Derek Sangster. Remember Holy Power, we couldn't go to school. Remember fish and ganja carry Holy Power through. What has Derek Sangster done for our community? What has Derek Sangster done for Southwest St. Elizabeth politics? What has Derek Sangster done for the Mountainside division? What has Derek Sangster done under his mayoralty for Black River? Nothing. He's 80 now. For God's sake. Perspective Power, good evening and welcome. The guy needs to go. Everybody know my family. We come out a hard struggle. No goals, we never born with goals pulling our mouth. The older we go to bed hungry, the older we sleep on the floor, the older we couldn't go to school. This is why I me have to come get my education, because me could even finish early at school because they did that tough in our family. But Kevar mother, who is my playmate, the two we born in the state of 1974, is a very ambitious, determined young lady. No hold her back. She will do anything to make sure our children them survive. And even when Kevar's father died, just before him start university, she never make that stop him. She make sure she work blood, sweat, and tears night and day to make sure he got to where he want to. So Kevar knows struggle. Kevar know how to put plans into action. Derek Sangster, 50 years, have never shown us that. As a 30-year-old, he has shown us that. Lots of qualification, him own business, and well still knitted to his community. This is where tonight's rant ends. But I am on a campaign. I'm not campaigning for the People's National Party. I'm not campaigning for the Jamaica Labour Party. I'm campaigning for my family, my community, and my country. This is where Global TV ends it tonight. Thank you all for being here. It's always lovely to have your presence with us. Be back here with us tomorrow when we will continue our program on Jamaica Decide 2024, the election campaign coverage. Head Teacher K, Derek Sangster is one of the biggest dinosaurs. I mean, Derek Sangster, soon 80, and Derek Sangster don't have a house for himself. Derek Sangster live at the people them yard where I'm married to. How come you go choose the man there to go make policy to develop your community when Derek Sangster don't even want nothing for himself? Come on now, PAROTTEE people and Southwest St. Elizabeth people, talk truth. What Derek Sangster have for himself? Ask yourself the question when you walk into the polling station. What has Derek Sangster got for himself? How has Derek Sangster developed himself over the last 50 years? Enough of it. That's why them look at we like fool, because we run back at them with a boogie aga every. Enough. Derek Sangster needs to go. And to the people of Barbary Hall, enough. Enough of the JLP violence. Enough. The people needs freedom. And Andrew Holness and him, Jesus, how you feel go it? Call the pigs. Call the, hey, they say call the pigs them. How you feel go it and address the pig? Different type of way now.
Don't do no.
Yeah, man, yeah. A different approach now, yeah. Different approach now, different approach.
Call the pigs. Call the mama for the pig. Call the police commissioner. Call the gunman Harris Strong. And call the thieving prime minister.
I truly believe our political system needs some fixing. Too much you hear about corrupt politicians and nothing happen. Too much you hear about politicians who take away poor people money and none of them reach in jail. And to the young people at home or wherever you are, and to all Jamaicans, I have one question for you. Take a look at your communities. Take a look at the sliding dollar. Take a look at the failing healthcare and ask yourselves, where is the progress? Where is the progress that this arrogant and disrespectful government keeps talking about? With this existing callous government, matters have gone from bad to worse.
You see, since Alonda Terry Long and Nyam with money, how them face look fat, but me I go call the pigs and their mama.
Don't do no.
Yeah, man, yeah. A different approach now, yeah. Different approach now, straight up. Different approach.
They're bound to deal with it better.
Only can deal with it better. Oh, look at my neck. Look at my neck.
Yeah, man, yeah, we are taking this. Come out of the vehicle. Come out of the vehicle, yeah, no. Tell me, I tell you, a different way.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man, that alright. Come out of the vehicle. Step from the vehicle. No. Alright.
So now, we're not doing so, brother. We're not doing so, brother.
Ah, man, I saw you these things, man.
Yeah. Man don't do them no. More than the man say go look for gunman and thief.
I thought me say go look for gunman and thief. We're not doing so.
Yeah.
Watch out. Let's say that's why me never vote for Andrew Holness again. Cause be a fuckery you not go with. Be a fuckery cause me don't know what kind of law this. The man not say nothing. The man not say nothing to no one kill off the man. The man not say nothing wrong. Go look for gunman and thief. And you don't tell the man so to take out in driver's license. You get in goonie paper everything or not arrest him and deal with him so. And I saw deal with people. When I deal with people, sir. And I mostly young police them do that. Mostly young police them. I should have my father. No. Me don't know why. The man only tell you to go look for gunman and thief.
Yo, Gaza, man.
You see them?
Gaza, man.
No.
I got no and thief in time to go look for her. He only time to go look for gunman and thief. The man, the driver,
big man, look how the man could have been on the father. For the father, the man could have been on the father. And look how now do the man. Look how now do the man. Us man and us look at that if he can take care of his family them and him pitney. Look how now do the man. A wickedness that. Wicked him and all he say. Go look for gunman and thief and the brown one. Grab and pan in key. We got to cut in key.
And drape him up and dry him out.
And him hang on for the man. The man not do nothing. Nothing the man not do. Nothing the man not do. The man could have been on a father. You're young. I don't access to them young. Them police are young. I bear them things the young police them go with. Bear them foolishness them go with.
And now I got charge a man for foolishness and a uno-wrong. And a uno-wrong. That them wrong. Them wrong. Because I have a video and I can put it out. And you Holness not run this system you good. Him not run it good.
Call the pig them and them parents and them employer. Cousin Myrna, good evening and welcome. I have just addressed the community and the family. Power come back yet? The wicked thief in Flight Green, the by goatman Flight Green and Derek Sangster. The old dinosaur. Them turn on back the power yet? Them turn on back the power yet, Myrna? Call the pig them. Tight pants boy. Hungry boy when I have bus fare and lunch. Hungry boy we can't live power government a piano. Hungry boy we have to loot and shoot at night. To make up on a pay. Hungry boy we have to have cocoa bread and box drinks for lunch. Hungry boy where your salary can buy you a night dinner. But let's look at the field. Oh, Myrna said no light not come back yet. But make sure the people them watch tomorrow. Because I talk to them because I'm very upset by people wanting to return Derek Sangster back into our politics. Hungry boys. But let's look at the failure. Their parents had failed. Because when parents grow picking you up good, you grow up to have respect for elders and seniority. Their community have failed because the community no longer raise a child. The criminal organization that trained them have failed. But how could they have failed though? They're a criminal organization. And when you're a criminal organization, you train people how to commit crime. But what you see there was a litany of failure. They also have failed themselves. Lack of self-control, lack of discipline, lack of tactfulness. You can name it over and over and on and on. A litany of failure. A litany of failure. Tight pants boy. Dunce boy. Who play with you and fill you up to give you that position because you not do exam for it. Boy, when you have money for buy lunch. Boy, when you probably have to go beg your mama money for pay bus fare for go walk. Some of these young men that they are putting in the police force are legal criminals. But then again, how me to blame them one? It fish rotten from the head. Isn't it, Dr. Chang? But let me tell you, boys, police boy, the gun where Dr. Chang give him bad man them. The gun where Dr. Chang give the bad man them is more powerful than the gun where Dr. Chang go. No? So let me tell you, police boy something. You go meet on occasion corner one day. Bad man. The bad man them with Horace Chang and Andrew Holness and Bruce Golden and the whole of them arm. I go meet on around Cajun corner one day. Because I know in time the bad man them at Jamaica ready for you. You don't have the firepower to take them on. Because Horace Chang and Andrew Holness make sure them arm the garrisons them more powerful. You never say the Americans have to come in and help them. When they say them are got to Valley for Dodos. The Jamaica Labour government. The Jamaica Labour government is using the power against you that you gave to them. When you give a government unwavering legislative power, that's why a government can go into your parliament Kakambo story. Take away power and responsibility and the policing of parliament and lock it up into for him office, just like him do with everything when he want to steal and commit him crime and don't want to be held accountable for anything. The Labour Party has always, in its inset, been a criminal regime, and we have seen it. We have seen the criminality since election. Since nomination, we have seen the election. Dean Jones jargon, Darrell Vaz, I tell people, say, I go cut them throat. Anne-Marie Vaz and her bad man them, go take down PMP people poster, burn it up and tear it up, and put up for them poster there. Then Andrew Holness and Nesta Morgan is going to look at us and tell us, oh, you've spliced the video. It's a criminal organization, people. Wake up. The truth is, neither the Jamaica Labour Party and the People's National Party, 6 half dozen. Big thief and little thief. The two of them are thief. One just thief less and one just thief more. The issue is, it's us, the people, that needs to take control of our politics. That game is going to continue until we take control of our politics. And this is why I'm asking my people in my community tonight, asking my family, let's play the game of politics. It is a game. I've always said that to you all. It is a game, but you must understand how the game is played and play it to your benefit. The old African saying says, when the fool learn the game is over. The more of us learn this game, the game is over for people like Derek Sampson. This is where Global TV ends it tonight. Thank you very much, and we will be back with you tomorrow on another program, Jamaica Decide 2024. Thank you very much, and good night from Global Television.